Tehila Frideman-Nachalon, apologies. She's a senior fellow at Shaharit. She will also explain about that. And in, sorry, I'm blanking.
And many hats for me,
She's
also
wearing many
literally. I think relevant here, I'm heading an organization called Ne'emanei Torah V'Avodah. No way I can translate that, but it's an organization works within the modern Orthodox community in Israel, trying to promote democratic values, tolerancy, it's a more liberal values within the modern Orthodoxy.
So maybe you should pick up your microphone. Maybe it'll be easier. So yeah, let's start. Tehila, growing up, how did your society and community related the Jewish ideas of redemption to the state of Israel? And yeah, let's start with this.
So, I was saying something about the modern Orthodox community, but actually, yeah, okay, sorry. When I introduced myself, I said something about the modern Orthodox community. But actually, when I grew up, we didn't call ourselves, we didn't think about ourselves as modern Orthodox. Orthodox wasn't part of my vocabulary, because Orthodox is versus Reform, conservative Jews. We didn't know, we didn't know of them. We were, and I am still, Zionist religious. Okay, Tzionut Datit. It's a stream within the Zionist movement. Okay, that's the Israeli version of modern Orthodoxy. Part similar to modern Orthodoxy, meaning there is a question here: how do you confront the modern world? How is the tradition and the modern world? How you play with both. But there's a whole set of other questions, and what's your attitude towards the existence of sovereign Jewish state? Okay, and this is versus the ultra-Orthodox world, which defines itself as anti-Zionist, okay, being not part of the Zionist movement. So, what does it mean? I grew up in the 80s and early 90s, and it was very clear in the way we were raised that we live in a miracle. I mean, we have the right to live in the dream of our great-grandparents and their grandparents, and all the Jews around the world that for 2,000 years were praying to go back to Zion, to come back to Zion. And we have the privilege of living in this miracle. And that was the basic notion we grew up in. Means that it was clear. You spoke about redemption. Redemption, I think, I'm not sure. I'm a native Israeli, as you can hear from my English, but I think the word redemption has a very heavy, Christianity meaning, obviously. Okay, and redemption has to do with Jesus come alive. So I'm not sure. I'm not expert, but in the Jewish tradition, what is redemption? Redemption is first the gathering of the exiles, kibbutz galuyot, the people of Israel coming back from all the lands, the exiles they were thrown to. Okay, after the destruction of the Second Temple, the coming back to Israel, the creation of a national state. You were talking about how Israel is the answer for anti-Semitism. It's part of the truth, but that's not the way we were raised. Israel is not because of anti-Semitism. Creating a Jewish land is because that's a fulfillment of the big mission of the Jewish people. Okay? And what's the mission of the Jewish people, according to the Bible? Is to be Mamlechet Kohanim V'Goy Kadosh, a kingdom of priests, a kingdom of priests and a holy people. Okay, that's like the big mission. And in order to do that, you need to have a kingdom. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to explain is that the whole, it's not against someone, okay, is for something. It's for fulfilling a big mission. It's a big story that we are all part of. And we were told, it wasn't a narrative, it was pursued as a fact, that we were coming back to an empty land. I mean, not really empty. Yeah, there were people here, but we were almost blind to their existence. They were almost unseen. I don't remember someone saying anything against Arabs. They were just not there, not part of the picture, not part of the story. The big story was how Jews who are observant can cooperate with Jews who are not observant, in creating this, this new sovereign Jewish state. And what should it be? Should it be halachically? Means halacha is, the Jewish law. Should the Israeli law be like the Jewish law, or democratic and modern and different? And those were the questions. And in this sense, we were raised on, and I remember I was in Bnei Akiva is a youth movement. And it was very strong there, the notion that the science for redemption is the land, the trees giving fruit, the land's flowering, the land was empty, you remember? And it was covered with bitzot, swamps, which is true, and was neglected. And we, Jewish people, came back and we redid it. We rebuilt it. Okay? And it was it's a very naive picture. It was a naive word. And this is to be messianic. Okay? It's not to be against someone. It's to feel that you're taking part in this big story of the Jewish people coming home. And the land waiting for them. Now, I think this naive picture, by the way, is built very much on the vision of a scholar, of a big rabbi called Harav Kook. Harav Kook was a Jewish philosopher. He lived in early
1865 to 1935.
Okay, thank you. And he was the thinker that we grew up on, okay? His thought, he was a base for looking on the Zionist movement in such a positive look, even though it was led by secularism. Think of it from a religious point of view. God chose to bring his people back to his land, our land, in a movement led by secular people who are against the halacha, against the Torah, against the Bible. It's complicated. It is complicated. And why should we be part of it? Because that's a redemption. Because that's a way of... we weren't talking so much about Mashiach. I don't remember that. But we were talking about the temple. Not in the way it's talked now. It was something very far, very, very far, but that was, in the late future, that's what's going to happen. But that's not for us to deal with. But that's part, that's the end station in this journey. Now, I think in the Oslo agreement, this naive picture was starting to break, because the Oslo agreement was perceived not as a peace agreement only, but as an effort to try to reduce the Jewish part of Israel and make it more a normal state, a whole citizen state. Okay, it wasn't only about the Palestinian. It was about the values of the left, and it was a group of Israelis, the Prime Minister, trying to increase connections with the Arabs, to talk in more universal language and to break the internal Jewish covenant. So, okay, I'm not sure I'm understood. It was, if the whole story was about how the Jewish people coming back to Israel and building a sovereign state, now that all those lefties are trying to make it something different, something else. And that was a big break. The disengagement took it even further.
Disengagement from Gaza?
Yeah, the disengagement from Gaza took it even further. Now, Oslo brought a big dispute, left against right, okay? The disengagement was the left throwing people from. That's the way it was perceived. It was obviously not the left. It was Sharon. yeah, not really big leftist.
Government.
But also for young people, the disengagement was a symbol that all this talking about sovereign state and being the redemption, that's nonsense. Okay, we live in a Jewish state, but it's Jewish because people here are Jews. They don't feel Jews. They don't observe mitzvot. They don't. Okay, they're Jewish by origin, not more. And they are against other Jews, and they are against Jewish values. And the democratic tools doesn't work anymore. The disengagement within the Orthodox community, not Orthodox, the religious Zionist community, felt like it was built on a lie. Sharon stole Kolot, votes. Okay, he did it without having majority supporting them. It was done with violating human rights. It was everything you cannot agree. I'm trying to give the narrative. Okay, what was the narrative? So, people said, so what's the point of being part of this democratic game? It doesn't work. They say it's democratic, but when it doesn't fit them, they throw it away. And that was the seeds for what we'll talk about, because people felt, okay, if this is not the way, if the land doesn't protect us, okay, Oslo, the years of Oslo, the terror, the heavy terror that came after it. Prime Minister Peres talking about victims of peace. People say, we don't want to be victim of peace. What's kind of concept that, a victim of peace? The land stopped protecting us. So if the land don't protect you, if you feel that votes are being stolen, if you feel that the whole אמנה חברתית, social, if you can speak Hebrew, why do I bother?
Social covenant.
Social, it's not a covenant, it's more like contract. Hopes. Okay, why? What's the point of having state? Okay, what's the point of having state? If the state don't protect us, we'll protect ourselves. And we'll do it in a very primitive way, of revenge, of things like that. If taking part of the democratic game is only a game, so we don't want, okay? And then it started to be mistrust with the state, with the government. Now, for my generation, it's very hard even to understand that, because we were raised, I remind you, we live in America first, and also we were raised very much like, and this is not special, for 2,000 years, as a Jewish people, I don't know how much time do I have? Two more minutes, that's, yeah, okay. For, when the Jewish narrative, when explaining the destruction of the Second Temple, so it wasn't because external enemies, it was because zealotry and internal hate. That's a narrative, no other narrative, okay? And there are a big portion of rabbis' quotes that you can bring to show what they did against zealotry and what they did against radical voices and radical practice within Judaism because of the trauma of the destruction of the temple. Okay? And every Tisha B'Av, every Tisha B'Av,
9th of the month of Av.
yeah, but that's okay, that's understood. And every, there are many fasts about the destruction of the temple. The narrative was always about, hate versus, sinat chinam. Sinat chinam is hate for no reason. Not really, hate. Help me with that. Unjustified hate. Hate, basically, internal hate. Okay, civil war, not civil, brother war. In Hebrew, you don't say civil war, you say brother war. And it was against brother war. Okay, that's zealotry and brother war, that's the biggest trauma. And somehow, I feel that what we see today is, I'm thinking about those rabbis 2,000 years ago, and I'm thinking of the vision. Somehow we have now a wave against it. Yeah, for zealotry and against the narrative that this is the biggest trauma and this is what we need to fight.
Thank you very much, Tehila. I think that it very much resonates from what you're saying is that the country, the politics, the world that we live in is, at least from the perspective of that you were just describing, is very much full with symbols and ideas that are embedded in the Jewish tradition.